Alright, I just want to throw a quick video out here in response to Sal's question about stamina and how that plays a part in the engine. As you're well aware, players are rated for 30 or 35 different categories, and the crux of the engine pits the player's skill sets against another player's skill set, and more directly, one particular skill against another player's skill to determine the outcome of a play. Now, the outcome of the play is random in nature, but there is a greater chance of having a positive outcome if certain variables are met. If you have a guy who has a higher skill set than the other guy, chances are you're going to have a better result. But there's also a sort of a, if you picture a random number of 1 to 1,000 rolled for each time there's a check like this, that is also cross-referenced in the chart to determine the results of a play. Now, if we take an example of a player, offensive player has a rating of whatever skill of 7, and the defensive player has a rating of 4. The offensive player, just on the surface, has a +3 positive over the negative player, but the way the engine works is the offensive player doesn't always get to use that 7 versus the defensive player's 4, and that's where stamina comes into effect. Now, each player, when they start a game, has a wind rating of 100. Players with higher stamina have their wind rating. The way their wind rating works is players with higher stamina don't lose their wind as quickly, and when they're on the bench, when they're not on the ice, they're on the bench recuperating, they gain their stamina back or their wind back faster than someone with lower stamina. A person with lower stamina is going to lose wind faster and gain it slower as he's sitting on the bench. Now, the way that factors into the engine is there's sort of 5 different categories of how winded a player is, from fresh to dog tired. And if we take our example of a 7 and a 4, the offense and the defense, let's say both players were fresh, the highest rating, they just got on the ice and the check was made. What happens at that point is there is 3 opportunities. So if you're rolling a 7-sided dice for the offensive player and a 4-sided die for the defensive players, because that's what their skills values are, each player would roll that 3 times, and then you would take the highest roll would be the rating that was used. So let's say you rolled 3 7-sided dice, and even though there is no such thing that I've ever seen, but if you roll 3 7-sided dice and the highest number was 6, and you roll 3 4-sided dice and the highest number is 4, the final overall rating for that is +2, because 6 was the highest for the offense and 4 was the highest of the 3 rolls for the defense. If the wind rating is over 90, that's what you do. You roll 3 and take the best. If the wind rating is between 70 and 89, you roll 2 and take the best. If the wind rating is between 40 and 69, you just get 1 roll. If it's between 21 and 39, you roll twice and you take the lower rating. And if it's below 20, you roll it 3 times and take the worst rating. So the fresher the player is, the more wind they have, the better, the higher the chance for those higher numbers and favorable results to occur from that. As mentioned before, the wind gets replenished when the player's on the bench, and if you got a guy who has a low stamina that's playing a lot of special teams, when he's on the ice, he's going to get winded faster, and he may not be ready to take his normal shift on the ice based upon his wind. And I haven't looked at, but I believe if the guy is lower than 50, he doesn't get in the ice unless it's sort of the end of game type situation. So that's the way stamina works. It is important to the engine. It's one part of everything. It's just one aspect of a player's rating, but it is a pretty important one. So I hope that answers your question, and I'll probably use this venue as other questions arise, and we'll have a little library of FHL questions for the commissioners. So talk to you soon.